Hi there, Igor Pechkowski is here, Windermere Bellevue Comments, your trusted real estate professional, your real estate broker in the Eastside, Bellevue, Seattle market. And this is my part two. If you haven't seen part one, go see that one. The link should be somewhere. This is my part two of where would the market go into 2022. We'll try to look a little bit into the future. We'll try to answer some questions of why it was so crazy this year, where it might go, which the bottom line is no one really knows with this new variant and all of those things. But I got some bullet points I want to run it by you so you know what are we looking at. And will the prices go down in 2022? I don't know, but I think based on this information that you're going to find out right here, so stay tuned. Let's try to answer that question by the end of the video. Here we go. Let's go, guys. We'll get a little bit deep into this, but try to follow. Let's start with inflation, right? So it's been said that inflation in our country is 6.2%, the latest report that just came out. And when people come to me and they say, Igor, how could the market be so crazy? It's about to fall. It's about all of that. I say, look, do you know how much money they printed? They just created 25% of all the money supply just in the last year than all the times before that. We just had passed 1.2 billion new infrastructure bill, 1.2 trillion, not billion, 550 billion in spending on new roads, bridges, ports, water, and rail, which is awesome. We need that, right? This goes into place over the next 5 years, not all at once. And they're working right now to pass another 1.7 trillion on climate change and on some other social programs, which is amazing, right? But how does that affect real estate? The bottom line of it is, look at this way. Can you imagine having a credit card that has absolutely no loan limit? You can borrow as much as you want, and there is no particular timeline to pay it back. You can just keep on borrowing money, which in our case is we have overspending problem. We keep on printing and we'll keep on printing. And that inflation probably does not go anywhere anytime soon. Think about this way, and this is important. So if you have inflation at 6.2% and you have money that you're borrowing at 3%, it's debt. You're making, so you bring 20% of down payment, which is your equity, and you borrow the rest, which is debt, 80%. And that 80% that you borrow at 3% interest rate, your inflation carries on at 6.2. You're making money on debt as well. You're at the bank. It's a no-brainer why real estate prices grow. I know a lot of people, quite a lot of our clients, because their Amazon stocks boomed, their crypto boomed, everything ballooned. They move that money from crypto, they take the 20% from Amazon stock, they convert it into cash. Yeah, they pay a bit of a tax on that, but then they just leverage it, take another 80% from the bank, at 3%, they buy a house. As simple as that. So that inflation will be, I think, will keep on kicking, and it will keep on boosting prices. Let's go go over a few next. Another thing that you should think about are rents. Rents had increased 10% year over year. It's an astronomical cost. I had a client that bought one of the townhouse I told you about in the previous video. His rent, 1 bedroom, South Lake Union, he rented the place for $1,900. The rent increase came in that now it will be $2,500. It's absolutely ugly and astonishing. So what? He liquidated crypto. We just locked him at the low interest rate. His payment for a new house will be $3,100 all in, right? Which is a no-brainer. So the rent increases, I do believe in 2022 will influence a lot of folks looking into purchasing, right? Which hopefully if it's in Seattle, they do have some townhouses to buy, just for the fact that they could lock that interest rate, they could lock that mortgage payment and not deal with rent increases. So I do believe next year we will see more renters becoming home buyers because it's just absolutely makes sense. And you don't have to be a genius to see inflation, right? Because inflation is everywhere. Gas prices rose. There is a Cass Freight Index came out saying that the shipping goods expense increased 32%. So everything around us will just get more expensive. That's how it works. But to the point of inflation, the only thing that could slow it down a bit, and I do believe that we should see it sometime in the next year, would be increased interest rate, right? So far, they've been at the bottom of the lifetime, right? Like very low, 3% is extremely low. Some people get less than that. So 3% interest rate. If we would see this new COVID variant kick butt next year, which would mean that money move from stocks, right? Stocks drop, money moves into bonds because that's a fixed return. And when money moved into bond, the interest rate actually go up. When stock market is all-time high, interest rates go down, right? So kind of opposite thing. So if we would see a little bit of an interest rate increase, that wouldn't be a bad thing. It should cool off the market a bit. But at this time, with all of the inflation, I do believe 2022 looks to be a pretty strong year. But if I haven't convinced you yet that the price is not going to go down, which I do believe they won't, let's look at something else. Guys, I hope you're having fun, because I do, and that coffee is kicking hard. But besides all of the inflation, let's look at our local economy. Here's a controversial number for you that you probably already guessed. Tech workers earned 24% of all wages earned statewide in 2020, up from 10% in 2007. Think about it. 24% in 2020, up from 10% in 2007. A quarter of all jobs around us are tech jobs. And let's have an update of what that looked like. Look at this graphic. Look at Bellevue. If you haven't been to downtown Bellevue yet, you should just drop by. So let's talk about Amazon, for example. Look at this graphic called Amazon effect. So they've been talking about, HQ2 someplace elsewhere. They never really announced what the place would be, but technically it is Bellevue, guys. So Amazon has, let's count, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I'm showing 4. Like that. 9 towers. 9 towers in Bellevue. Yeah, they're building, not all of them are brand new towers. They're leasing a few, but they do have Amazon owned. They do have 2 that they're building, and they're leasing the rest. So from 30 plus minus thousand employees that they said that they would bring to downtown, they updated that number to 50 plus. That's Amazon, guys. Let's look into downtown Bellevue by itself. The office pipeline, when you look at this graph, you kind of look at it in a perspective. So there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are 11 new office towers going up in downtown Bellevue. So you knew that it's hot, but when you talk over coffee with your friend, now you know the number. 11 new towers, office towers going up in downtown Bellevue. And another number that comes with that is 11 major office projects under construction, excluding the Microsoft, collectively totaling 6.14 million square feet of space, which is 89% is pre-committed. What can I say? Forget about inflation. Let's say there is no inflation. The downtown Bellevue is going to transform in the next couple of years. It's coming down to the wire. There are a lot of stuff is going into, and there are some things that you should not forget. So folks, besides downtown Bellevue and its 11 towers, don't forget we have Facebook. Links another lease in Seattle area where it now has 7K employees and 3.3 million square feet. They're going right down into that Spring District area. If you don't know where Spring District is, just Google it. It's right next to downtown Bellevue by their Bellevue Lake, and there is light rail station going to be right there. They bought a lot of stuff there. They just bought REI building in there as well. Like, we have Facebook as well. Then if you look at it, guess what? We got Google making moves. If you go a little bit north on the 85th where the Costco is, that corridor, Google bought a 10-acre plot close to its existing campus in Kirkland, and it plans to use it and expand in the area. 10 acres, guys. They're making moves, and I'm not just talking about Amazon. But the thing is also, don't forget about Microsoft. I mean, Microsoft ain't going anywhere. Like that big redevelopment that they're doing on their campus, they're kicking butt. No one is talking about them, but they're still here. So we got a lot going on, right? A lot going on. And how would you answer that question? Would the prices go down next year? What do you think? So folks, I didn't mean just to bombard you with all of that good stuff, but I'm kind of, I'm trying to be realistic. No one knows where the market will be. We don't know with this new variants and other things and all of that. But what we do know that our government is pretty good at printing money, and that balloons everything. And that money are flying into businesses or real estate or to rich people, right? That's where that money is going. We do have 25% of all the jobs are tech jobs, and these jobs aren't going anywhere either. And I don't see how the inventory would increase. It takes 8 months to get a building permit for one house in the city of Bellevue. Seattle got a little bit more townhouse inventory and all of that, but our inventory will be short probably for years. There is a lot of equity. People don't really have needs to sell. They're gonna hold on to their houses. So I don't really see how that price would drop in 2022. If I would make a prediction, I'd say that come here January, February, market will soar once again. It hadn't slowed, and I just have a feel it will keep on going. I hope I'm wrong. Don't get me wrong. Like I do hope for that 6% annual appreciation, some normalcy in that market that we should have. But I believe that we'll keep going above that number. Those are two more of my videos. Thank you for sticking until the end. And yeah, I am taking out for a little bit of vacation here shortly, and business been great. It's been an awesome year. It's been a pleasure serving you all, and I'm gonna see you next year in January of 2022. Merry Christmas, Merry upcoming holidays to you and your families. And this was Igor Pechkovsky, your real estate trusted advisor in the Eastside Seattle area. Thank you guys. Talk soon.